May the creator refine your disc. But there's so much that we would need to do here. I want to say two things. And I don't mean that in a mean way. Your account is in a frankly pretty horrible state. I think your account is bricked and you're probably better off deleting it.
Ooh.
So, we have Lucaso at 60, and your resources look just... I mean, they don't look just fine there. You're broke, man. You're broke. You have 88 days left. You are likely not free to play, but you do not like top-up bonuses, I suppose. You have literally every single bangbo. That is fine. You have R3 B Lion. You have R5 Snap. You have R3 Robin. That honestly looks all pretty fine. And aside from that, what? Let's look, well, while we're here, let's look at your deadly assault scores. You are at 28k versus Vesper, not Vesper, Reaper. You are at 32k versus Priest. And you are at 34k versus Mario. That is fine. So, you are at 652, 11, 3. I think that is still reasonable. So, you have skipped a Nekomata. Wow, how do you dare skipping her? You have skipped Caesar, Lighter, Ellen, Seed, Fufu, Banue. Honestly, most of these are fine skips. I think Evelyn is usually, but the thing is that if you have a well-built Soldier 11, that's also M3, that doesn't look too bad. What W engine? Oh, you don't have any W engines! Where are all your signatures? No attack signatures. Cannon rotor? Oh boy, do I have bad news for you. How do I phrase this in the nicest way possible? Cannon rotor is complete utter garbage. It is completely unusable, and you should literally use anything but this one. I think that is the nicest way of how I can phrase this. That being said, do we have any mindscapes? I suppose probably not, because otherwise you would not have more chars. M6 Manato? Holy whale. Yeah, all M0 as it looks like. That is honestly pretty fair. However, you're not free to play. You do have Bernice. A very wrongly built Bernice, though. That is... So, we are gonna go into that later. You have basically most stuff built. That is pretty fine. M2 Lycon. You have lost a lot of 50-50s. So, let's have a look. You're running 4-piece Phaethons with a signature on Nangong Yu. So, good. That is fine. You are at... Okay, your AP is really low. You also want to level a bit more. Do you have the resources for that? You are more on the brokey side. AP... Yeah, so overall, your stats are a little bit on the lower side. 275 is more on the lower side, for sure. You also... Nangong Yu does a lot of days, but you definitely want her assist, EX, and ultimate at 12, because that is basically where everything is. And the basics you can leave at 11. They are not unimportant, but comparatively, these are more important than her basics. Her basics do a good amount of days, and I would probably recommend you to level it to like 12. But in my opinion, these are more important. Especially Ult EX do a lot of days. Well, otherwise roll better subs, right? You're running 4-piece Shining Adia, I mean, that is fine. Your substats also look not all too bad on those. Your skills don't really matter on Adia. You are at 436, you are running Electrolip Gloss at R1. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna note down for you, Vengeance. Craft 6 more Weeping Gemini and get your Weeping Gemini to R5. There's no reason for you to have like 2 of them at R2 rather than having them at R5 because it's craftable. How do I phrase this one nicely before we even get to me boo boo? Well, that is unfortunate. I think your account is bricked and you're probably better off deleting it. Okay, so Rainforest is probably at least one of the, if not the worst W engine for anomaly agents in the entire game. So I would highly recommend you to just get another Weeping Gemini, switch your Electro Lip Gloss, use, I don't freaking know, Time Weaver, Sharpened Stinger, I don't freaking know. Like, most of these W engines are better than this thing. So this is a pretty big loss of resources. It is never worth it. Craft like 20 Weeping Gemini, yeah. It's a really good W engine, especially for being free. So I would much rather run this one on every single anomaly agent than anything else. Just run these. The difference between these two are also usually at R5, like, right? An R5 Electro Lip Gloss is usually about as good as a Weeping Gemini. There are very few differences where Lip Gloss is better. It's really not a lot, it's a few. And for those cases, I don't think it's worth spending $50 on this one. It's not a bad W engine, and I think it's fine. I just wouldn't have like 2 of them at R1. Get more Weeping Gemini, and get this of your Meeple. Otherwise, roll better substats, right? You are running Ether Dimensional Anomaly Mastery, and that is fine. Your Sona is on Kaboom 3-1. Okay, your attack is really low. I mean, roll better substats, right? I would probably also recommend you for your Sona, because your attack is so low, a 2-piece Astral or Hormone, which is gonna be a little bit better for you than this energy is right now. Mainly because you are missing like 300 attack here, which is surprisingly quite a bit. You are pretty broke, so I'm not gonna recommend you leveling these, even though it would be helpful, of course. All stunners, assist to 12.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the...
I suppose you can switch this, right? Just use Cauldron of Clarity rather than this thing. So first of all, this is gonna fix your crit rate issues, because right now, I mean, how much crit rate do you have? You get 12% here, that means you're at 75% crit rate. 75% crit rate is really low. The main problem you're gonna run into with 75% crit, so you always have to think it in a way that all of your crit damage, all of this, every single substat you invest into this is useless if you don't crit. If you don't crit 1/4 of the time, this one is gonna be lowered massively. You are gonna get also a lot of crit damage from other sources, but because you do, you want your crit rate as high as possible. Aside from that, you can level the assist a little bit, but it's not too important. Get them to 12 if you can. Wait, how many? You have 25 cage, all DPS chars. Use your hamster cages. There's no reason for you to keep 25. If you want to keep like 5 or maybe 10, to be fair, I understand that, right? You know, maybe you want to save for an upcoming agent or two. So I get that. But otherwise, I would highly recommend you to spend them. There's no reason to keep 25. Yes, I know it's kind of expensive on Chinese, but still. Use Cauldron. I mean, you can switch them, right? It's not the worst thing. 42 unrelated. That Yezhongguang isn't looking bad at all. You have Brimstone. You probably want to go for more attack, because Brimstone is gonna scale off your attack, right? The higher this value is, the better the value of this character is gonna be. So I personally would probably recommend you to use attack percent in the slot, because it's gonna make Brimstone better. And you're gonna get more from that. You are also currently running a 2-piece pen ratio set. I probably would recommend you either Fanged Metal or Astral Voice or Hormone Punk. Anything that isn't Puffer Electro. Do you have anything useful here? Ooh. You know what? I'm gonna level this for you, and...
Nice.
What a good piece. Do you have a good attack one here? You don't! Well, you know, I'm happy to give this one to you, and just use it on somebody else, I suppose. Go to Alfie. Oh, do you want me to get a disc 6 for you? Give this piece to Miyabi instead. No, we hate Miyabi here. It's the Miyabi hate train. So, good luck, man, good luck. This surely cannot go wrong. May the creator refine your disc. I guess the creator doesn't like you. To be fair, your current one is not that much better. I'm not sure if that is a good thing, but this one... I mean, arguably this has more rolls than your current one has. Which is also something, right? Jane 2... Okay, your attack is really low. We are gonna do this. Arguably... That one has a lot better substats, right? And you probably want to use this. But your attack should never be below 2600. Ideally, even higher. 2-3 is gonna be really, really low. Do you have any way of making up for this? Oh, you have 0 attack percent substats either here. Okay, chat. So, not only for this account, right? But generally... While a main stat is important, you should never level a disc like this. The only, like, you level this if it has at least, like, attack percent substat. But this doesn't even have a chance to roll it, right? This is a horrible disc to roll on. It doesn't even have attack as a, not even flat attack. Crit rate is not gonna do anything for you, so unless it rolls 5 times into pen, which still is not very ideal, this is gonna be, you know, make just sure it has 1 orange highlight, basically. That is most of the time gonna be pretty good, unless you are gonna do some off-meta crap, right? If you wanna please like crit knees or crit piper. Yeah, I would not roll on this personally. Main stats are important, but you have a lot of things, a lot of main stats where you rolled on. I would highly recommend you go here, go like for Phaethon's Melody, something that every character can use, and do this, right? A single AP, like a single attack is fine. At least something. Something is better than nothing. Oh my god. How do we solve this? Without, oh my... I was like, oh, 2400 attack with Anomaly Mastery is really low. Yeah, you should have 3000 attack with Ice in slot 5. So the first thing we are doing is you are gonna run Weeping Gemini on her instead. And then you are gonna farm some attack percent subs. You have 0 attack percent subs here, 0 attack percent subs here, 0 attack percent subs here, 0 attack percent subs here. Here you have 1 and here you have 3. You have 4 attack percent subs. Keep in mind that attack percent is better on Miyabi than crit damage. This disc would be better if it would say crit damage +0 and attack +1. Especially more so if you're running Weeping Gemini or any Anomaly Proficiency Vengeance. Running attack is more important than crit damage. Yeah, how do we solve this? I mean, to be fair, like, right? A lot of this boils down to luck. However, you have a lot of discs that you have not leveled currently that you could level that might roll really nicely, right? Especially like, where was it? Here, your woodpecker pieces, right? This one, this one, this one. All of your double pieces which you have here with like crit damage attack, crit rate attack and stuff, you could always roll on. And I would recommend you to do that. Go and dismantle like your stuff that you don't need, like this one, right? Just dismantle it, get the money instead, and roll it for use it for rolling again. Maybe is crit rate, then attack, then crit damage, basically. Get your Weeping Gemini. Oh my god, there's so much that we would need to do here. Run Reaping instead of whatever that dinosaur is. Try to hit 3200 attack and stats brain. Crit damage can be around 120. Let's even lower it for a little. Let's say 110% plus. Arguably it should be 130-ish, whatever. But let's just say 110% for you because you are really broke in everything, right? You don't have signatures whatsoever. Try to focus on that. If you want to, if you have to run attack percent here rather than ice damage, that's fine. I think the main problem you have is that this disc is actually really good. It's a really good disc. Arguably it's a near perfect crit rate slot 4 disc, right? You even have like attack and AP here. So it's really, really good. A really good disc. You can try to exchange this, but this one is also arguably not that bad, except that you don't have attack substats on that, but it's also probably not gonna be that easy to get a better one. You might want to play around here a little bit. I also would recommend you to get more crit rate, but you do not have signature. So not having the signature here is gonna really hurt you in your build, which is why I personally think it's probably fine here. If you can get more, you can get more, right? But not having the signature is just really difficult for you to build this. You could also consider just running like a crit rate weapon here, like Steel Cushion, right? Just for the crit rate and base attack. I personally think that an R5 Reaping Gemini is better, but depends on your substat. Yanagi, 142, 3, 3, 5. You do have her signature. 2-9. You even have M1. Well, I guess you do like Yanagi for the fact that you skipped most units, but you did go for her M1. Also, your discs here are much better than on average. Outside of this one. I would argue this is probably your best built character. Your substats on these two are really good. This one is fine. It's not, you know, fantastic great, but it's fine. This one is also your best anomaly disc I've seen so far, because otherwise you have like no substats whatsoever that are remotely usable. This is, I will just call it an all-rounder disc. That might be the best way to phrase this. It's an all-rounder disc. And this one really wants some attack percent subs, but aside from that, it's fine. It's really not the worst Yanagi you have. Then you have Orphe. Oh, hell no! 51. Oh my god, your attack is... You cannot run around with 1900 attack, man. That is not gonna work. You have 0 attack subs on anything. Okay, damn, that is a good one. That's a good disc. Do we have like a crit rate disc here? Okay, so that being said, Orphe, you really want more attack. You cannot run around with that. If you want to keep your energy regeneration in slot 6, that is okay, but you really want to be below that. Also, crit rate up to 63%, that's green. I want to say 2 things, and I don't mean that in a mean way. Your account is in a frankly pretty horrible state. However, and I want to make everybody in chat aware of that as well, you do not need to have a great account to get good scores. I want to say that for your account state, those scores are pretty good. Actually, I would say for the fact of how badly a lot of your agents are built, especially in terms of attack, those are really good scores. Top 11% terrible state? No, that's not the point. The point is that the builds, the characters in itself, the builds are not in a great state. There's a lot of things that can be improved massively. And these scores could go from 30k to 50k by doing that. That does not mean that the account itself is in a horrible state. It's the characters, right? And you can still get a great score by doing that, just by knowing how to play. And the scores are just really good. And I think that is very important also to point out, because a lot of people focus on the wrong things. A lot of people think they need the really good discs to get good scores, but that is not the case. You don't need the best disc to get good scores. You just need some discs that are serviceable, and by doing so, you are gonna get good scores if you know how to play. If you don't know how to play, that is fine, but then you are gonna need a little bit of help in terms of either shield buffs, or, well, in terms of a better build. There are more ways of how you can get scores than just RNG, but a lot of people think they just need good luck in RNG to get good scores. You don't. And I think that is something that I really want to point out, and I want to give you props for, because I don't see that often. You know, most of the time if the account is in a horrible state, they struggle to clear like 20k or whatever, and I think this is cool to see. This is really cool to see. So heavy props to you for getting those scores, especially with the really low amount of attacks you had on some characters. Your Orphe running around with 1900 attack is something. For Lucas, your resource management was an S. Your disc rolls were honestly not that great. Missing attack percent subs basically on every character. For Orphe at 1.9k attack. Your builds were, given your disc rolls, still not great. Your skipped units were fine, and your DA score, I will give you an S+ for what you had. I will give you an S+ for what you had. Given that your disc rolls have been really not in a great state, hitting 30k on average with basically no attack on every single agent is good. To be fair, your Yanagi is a little bit, your Yanagi was good. I'm gonna give you a final verdict of an A-. It is not the worst, it is not the best. I think a lot of this stuff can be fixed relatively easily with a little bit more investment and hopefully the knowledge that you have gotten today. Thank you so much for submitting your account.